There is an animal in the ocean that hunts fish for a living. Fish are fast. You know this. A fish can turn, accelerate, and be gone before your brain has finished deciding to look at it. To eat a fish, you have to be faster than a fish, which is why the things that eat fish are sharks, and barracuda, and seabirds that hit the water like artillery. And then there is this thing. This thing moves at roughly 1 inch per minute. I want you to actually picture that. Not a slow animal, not a lazy animal. 1 inch per minute. It would take it an hour to cross this desk. You could outrun it while asleep. A traffic cone is faster than it in any meaningful sense, because at least the cone is not trying. And it kills fish regularly, reliably, and it has killed people. It is a snail. That is the animal, a sea snail, the deadliest predator, pound for pound, in the shallow tropical ocean. And it is a snail in a pretty shell, moving 1 inch per minute, and it is winning. So we have a problem, and the problem is the whole video. How does the slowest hunter in the ocean catch the fastest prey in the ocean? The answer, and I want to be precise here, is that it never catches anything. It has never chased a fish in its life. It solved the problem from the other end. It made the fish stop. Let us start with the shell, because the shell is the first part of the trick, and it is aimed at you. Cone snails have some of the most beautiful shells on Earth. Glossy, patterned, geometric. They look like something a designer made on purpose. They are collected. They are sold in shell shops and beach markets and gift stores. There is a very good chance you have held one, and that is exactly how people get hit. Almost every serious cone snail injury happens the same way. Somebody walking a reef flat sees a gorgeous shell lying in the sand, picks it up, and finds out it is not empty. There is a saying among divers, and it is a real one: if it's a cone, leave it alone. Because inside that shell is a harpoon, not a metaphor, an actual harpoon. Snails normally eat using a radula, which is a ribbon of tiny teeth they use to scrape food, the same way a garden snail scrapes a leaf. The cone snail took that ribbon and evolved it into one single hollow, barbed, disposable spear. It keeps that spear loaded in a tube called the proboscis, and when prey comes close enough, it fires it hydraulically, like a dart gun made of animal. And this is where the paradox breaks open, so pay attention. The snail crawls, the harpoon does not. The strike is over in a fraction of a second. This is an animal that moves at 1 inch per minute and carries a weapon that arrives before the fish knows the weapon exists. The harpoon is barbed, so it holds. It is tethered, so the snail can reel the fish back in like a fisherman. And it is single use, so afterwards the snail throws it away and grows a new one. It reloads. There is a cone snail somewhere right now, in the dark, growing its next bullet, but a harpoon still has a range problem. You have to get close to a fish to spear it, and you move at 1 inch per minute, and the fish does not. So here is the part that made me want to make this video. This is the single most disturbing thing I have learned about any animal this year, and almost nobody talks about it. The cone snail drugs the water. Some of these snails release a chemical into the sea around them before they attack, and the chemical is insulin. Insulin, the hormone in your body that controls your blood sugar, the one that diabetics inject, that one. The snail makes a specialized, fast-acting insulin, and it releases it into the open water, and the fish nearby absorb it through their gills, and their blood sugar crashes. They go into hypoglycemic shock, they get sluggish and confused, and they stop being able to swim properly. The snail did not make the fish slower than itself, it made the fish stupid, and then it just walks over at 1 inch per minute and takes its time. And it gets more specific than that because the insulin it makes is unusually similar to the insulin that fish make. It did not invent a poison. It copied the fish's own hormone and turned the dose up. It reached into its prey's body chemistry, found the switch labeled conscious, and leaned on it. That is not hunting. That is anesthesia. The really famous one, the geographic cone, goes further. It unfolds a huge false mouth, a stretchy net of tissue, and it drapes it over a sleeping or sedated fish and swallows the fish whole. Then it harpoons it on the inside. There is footage of this. It is a shell eating a live fish from the outside in, and it looks exactly as wrong as it sounds. By the way, if you are enjoying learning that the slowest animal in the ocean is also the one drugging the water, subscribe. It costs you nothing and it takes less than 1 inch per minute. Now let us talk about what is in the venom, because venom is not one thing, it is a library. A cone snail's venom is a cocktail of compounds called conotoxins, and a single species does not have one toxin. It has something on the order of 100 to 200 distinct ones, and every species has its own set. Across the whole family, the estimates for how many different compounds these animals have invented run into the tens of thousands and beyond, which means this genus of slow, stupid, brainless snails is, chemically speaking, one of the most creative groups of animals that has ever existed. They are out-inventing us. There is more pharmacology in the mouth of a sea snail than in most laboratories, and what conotoxins do is elegant and horrible. They do not burn tissue, they do not dissolve anything, they block the ion channels your nerves use to fire, they cut the wiring. So here is what happens to a person. Most cone snails hunt worms, and could not do much to you. The ones that hunt fish are the problem, and the geographic cone is the worst of them. And when one of those hits a human, the sting is often described as not especially painful, which is the first lie the animal tells you, and then the paralysis starts. It moves through the body, and what kills a person is not the venom attacking anything vital, it is that the muscles you breathe with simply stop taking orders. Divers call it the cigarette snail. The story is that you have time to smoke 1 cigarette before you die. I want to be straight with you because the whole point of this channel is that I do not make things up to scare you. That nickname is folklore. It is a piece of dark diver humor, not a medical fact, and you should not repeat it as one. The real number of people killed by these animals is a few dozen recorded, and the honest answer is that we do not know, because this happens on remote reefs where the records are bad. But here is the fact that does not need any exaggeration. There is no antivenom, none. There is no vial in any hospital anywhere on Earth with your name on it, and so the treatment protocol, the actual medical response to the deadliest snail in the world, is this. You keep the person breathing, you put them on a ventilator, and you breathe for them, and you wait, and you hope the toxin wears off before something else does. That is it, that is the plan. Modern medicine versus a snail that moves 1 inch per minute, and our best answer is, hold on. And then, of course, the ending, because we did the only sensible thing you can do when you meet a chemist that good. We stole from it. There is a drug called ziconotide. It comes out of the venom of the magician cone snail. It was approved back in 2004, and it is given to people in agony, injected directly into the fluid around the spinal cord, and it is described as being on the order of 1,000 times more powerful than morphine, and it is not an opioid. It cannot get you addicted, and it cannot be abused. Read that again, because it is the best sentence in this entire story. The animal that paralyzes you and stops your lungs is now the source of one of the most powerful non-addictive painkillers we have ever found. The thing that cuts your nerve signals is now sitting in hospitals, cutting the nerve signal for pain in people who had nothing left. We spent a century trying to build a painkiller that did not destroy the person taking it, and it turns out a snail had already done it in the dark on a reef. purely so it could eat a fish that was about to swim away. So let us finish where we started. The deadliest predator in the shallow ocean has no eyes worth mentioning, no brain worth mentioning, no speed at all, and it lives inside a decoration. It cannot chase, it cannot flee, it cannot even leave. Everything about it is slow, and it will still beat a fish every time because it does not compete on speed. It never has. It just makes the water hostile and waits and lets the ocean bring dinner to a stop. You are faster than it, you are stronger than it, you have a brain and hands and a species behind you, and if you had picked it up off that beach, none of that would have mattered even slightly. If you like animals that win by refusing to play the game you thought they were playing, subscribe. They get worse from here.